being raised by a single mom for a while, and then she became married, and not the best relationship with my stepfather. Talk about my father, my biological father, having no memories of him. Now, my family on both sides, yes, but no memories of him before the age of 12. Like, I can't even think of a time where I saw him before that. Even though I saw my sisters and my grandparents, I didn't necessarily see him. And so growing up in poverty, my mother, by the time I was getting my own income tax check, my mother told me the most she ever made was $28,000 a year. And that's for the entire family of 4 of us. And there were so many other things that I could do in that neighborhood to make some money. And, you know, we go in different areas and different ways to supplement our income if you have that ability. Never doing anything like that. Getting out, coming to the University of Memphis. Once I came to the University of Memphis, you think that I was, okay, I'm past it. I'm able to kind of sail clearly. No, at that point, it was self-sabotaging.
Hey everybody, I'm back with another episode of Soul Success Stories. And today I am talking to my friend, Jermaine Swagerty.
Hey everyone.
Germaine and I go all the way back to the University of Memphis, circa 1998, 1999, somewhere in there. So Germaine is a product manager at my old employer, FedEx. But he's also, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to him, he's a supporter. He was one of the first people who saw what I was doing and said, hey, Summer, I want one of those hoodies. How can I support you? I applaud what you're doing. And Germaine, I just want to tell you that meant a lot to me. That meant a whole lot to me. And I will never, ever, ever forget it. So before we get into the story, his amazing story, Germaine, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my first name is actually Sanford. So my name is Sanford Jermaine Swagerty. People always want to do the Sanford and Son theme song. As long as you get it right, please. I'm good with that. Just get it right. Don't mess it up. I've had people mess it up and I was like, nope, try again. Go listen to it. My name is Sanford Jermaine Swagerty. I'm from Newport, Tennessee, which is on the other side of Knoxville near Gatlinburg. And I was a 1993, I came to Memphis in 1993. So I was here a little bit before you to start the University of Memphis, graduated from the University of Memphis in computer engineering, became a member of the greatest fraternity. We're not going to debate that here. The greatest fraternity, Omega Psi Phi, in 97, around the time we met and really became close, because you came through, what, 98?
Yep.
So, yeah, I am a father to 2 awesome kids. They're one's 21, about to be 22, and the other one's 17. They would not like me calling them kids, but they're my kids.
They're your kids, yeah.
Right. And a husband to a woman that is outstanding and impressive in her own right. One day you're going to have her on here, Latoya. Met her at the University of Memphis. And so,
well, that's cool. I didn't know you met her at the University of Memphis. She was at the University of Memphis as well. Well, that is super cool. So yes, because you pledged that fraternity, Omega Psi Phi, that's the reason why I know you. I know that's the reason why I know you is because I was a part of the Greek community too. And I'm super excited to be connected to you, and all these years later to still be connected to you, and to see the great work that you're doing. And we'll get into the questions, but I do want to shout out what you're doing as a cyclist now.
Yeah,
talk a bit about that.
It's okay. So I have a cycling group called Grip and Grind Cycling. It is for new riders. The focus is new riders because in this life, and this is the thing, like, reason I support you because you're all about people getting better and doing more and being healthy. And I'm just on the physical side of trying to help people. If they want to do better, so what? Do better. Like, let's go. Like, let's get it together. And so anybody that wants to try cycling, holler at me. We have a group ride. We do 7 miles, 12 miles, 15 miles. Cycling is a vice. It's a passion. It is a way for me to keep my heart beating. Heart health is very important to me, talking about it. Heart disease is the #1 killer for all men, all demographics. It's the #1 killer of women. So we need to be thinking about how we can keep our heart healthy. And cycling is my vehicle of choice.
I love it. I love it. I saw you start maybe during COVID. Is that kind of when you got?
I actually started around 2016. So
Okay.
I started a little before COVID. Everybody that's come through into COVID, I'm cheering them on. Hey, come on, COVID cyclists. I love y'all. The cycling community exploded.
Yeah.
There are so many cyclists now. I love it.
Well, I love it, and I love seeing you do it. And we'll talk about me getting in there. We'll talk about that. But in this program, I have what I call the SOA success system, and it's my belief that if a person can learn how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate their choices, they can have SOA success. And that is success no matter what they go through. And Germaine, you and I have shared a few things, and I know a little bit of your journey, and you definitely are, something about SOA success. So talk to us a little bit about the obstacles that you've had to overcome to be the husband and the father and the professional that you are today.
Being raised by a single mom for a while, and then she became married, and not the best relationship with my stepfather. Talk about my father, my biological father, having no memories of him. Now, my family on both sides, yes, but no memories of him before the age of 12. Like, I can't even think of a time where I saw him before that. Even though I saw my sisters and my grandparents, I didn't necessarily see him. And so growing up in poverty, my mother, by the time I was getting my own income tax check, my mother told me the most she ever made was $28,000 a year. And that's for the entire family of 4 of us. And there were so many other things that I could do in that neighborhood to make some money. And, we go in different areas and different ways to supplement our income if you have that ability. Never doing anything like that. Getting out, coming to the University of Memphis. Once I came to the University of Memphis, you think that I was, okay, I'm past it. I'm able to kind of sail clearly. No. At that point, it was self-sabotaging. Self-sabotaging for the point of I left and didn't understand the opportunity in front of me, didn't have the guidance to say, hey, buckle down, do what you got to do, get out. And so I say I came into school in 93. Well, I didn't graduate until 2000. That's not 4 years.
Yeah, you took the route. Yeah.
That's not 4 years. My first semester, I had a 1.5 GPA. And I tell this to all the teenagers that I mentor. Like, my first semester I had a 1.5 GPA. My second semester I had I ended up with a 1.9 after the first year. I was trying to get so far away from my hometown that I almost sent myself back. And that was nobody's excuses but my own, because I was out having fun, partying, and not doing what I knew I needed to do, which is get the grades, study.
So let me ask you this. 1, what brought you to the University of Memphis? And then 2, what got you on track? What was your wake-up call? Because by the time I met you, you were still out. But I was too, but I was getting my grades. And I guess by the time you probably were as well. So talk about what brought you to Memphis.
I was doing enough to pledge, but I still didn't have my mind on like graduation. And so to come to University of Memphis, 1, University of Memphis, as far as Tennessee schools, was one of the 2 schools that had computer engineering technology or anything dealing with computer engineering. Many schools had computer science. Few schools had computer engineering. I had always been told that I was good in math, so I should be an engineer. Never seen an engineer that looked like me until I got to Memphis. But for some reason, people told me, hey, you should be an engineer. You're good at math. So, okay, but I like computers, so computer and engineering. I didn't want to do computer science, I wanted it to be computer engineering. Only 2 schools had it, University of Memphis and TSU. I had family here in Memphis, so that's why I came to Memphis. Plus, any school outside of Tennessee always was too expensive for me to come because I had to pay for school myself. Told you about my family situation.
Sure.
I had to pay everything that I paid for I paid for it. And I didn't have the understanding and didn't have anybody helping me to understand that I could get a scholarship. And so I didn't get any scholarship. I got Pell Grants, TSA, I got all those grants, but no scholarship. So I paid for most everything with student loans. So that's how I got to Memphis.
Wow. Well, what was your wake up call? You like, okay, I do want to graduate.
Honestly, my wake up call was my firstborn.
Okay.
And my best friend, I don't know if you know Eric Vernon, owner of barbecue shop. He's my son's godfather. And
okay.
he told him, and I agreed, and we talked about it to my son. It was like when my wife was pregnant. How could I tell him to go get a college degree? And I was a few classes from getting it. I needed to buckle down. And so I buckled down and I got my first degree. Took 10 years later, but I got a second degree. I got my master's MBA, got certifications, got my PMP, which is project management professional certification, which is actually the reason why I am working at FedEx, because they recognize that PMP certification more than they recognize my master's, because a lot of people have MBAs.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. And then, when I worked at FedEx, the MBA was super important. I don't even know what the standards are now, but I had to have an MBA to have my position at FedEx. But I do know the project management certification is super important, and it's super impressive that you go from that 1.4 or 1.5 GPA to these degrees and these degrees and the certification and where you are today. And that's exactly why I like sharing these stories. But the second part of the SOA success system is eliminating excuses. And so you had your obstacles, you created some additional obstacles, but talk about some of the excuses that you made, or some of the excuses that you said, okay, I got to get rid of these excuses and I got to make it happen.
So going back to why I was not going to graduate from school, I had a job where I was making probably what minimum wage should be now, $15 plus an hour. But at the time, when you're 21-ish, 22, and you're able to afford an apartment, a car, able to have fun, be able to maybe take a trip to go to Atlanta, you're not really worried about much. And you think, okay, this is enough. So my excuse is I don't have to do anymore. I don't have to work any harder. There was also a level of excuse that I am doing better than all of my friends in this area, or all the people that I grew up with.
Sure.
And so why do I need to push harder? Why do I need to do more? And I talk to a lot of people that are like me in that aspect at that age, but now that I'm older, and I do my best to inspire them. For instance, in a couple of weeks, I'll be going back to Amsterdam, and then I'm going to Barcelona while I'm over there. As a small kid in Newport, Tennessee,
that's unheard of.
Amsterdam, I've been to London, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Dubai, Toronto, Singapore. no telling where did I say London? Yeah. Couldn't think of that stuff. So when I go home and talk to kids, I'm like, what are you trying to do? Like, where do you want to go? Have you seen this before? Like, this is me here. This could be you here. Like, let's do it. And so the obstacles, you got to envision that you can do more. And when you see that you've done more, it's your responsibility to go show somebody else.
I love it. I love it. And I appreciate what you're doing too. I'm a small town girl. And I never would have imagined I've been the place, would have gone to the places that I've gone either. And I think it's awesome. And I think it's just beautiful that you take that responsibility seriously though, too, to go back and show, hey, you know what? It seems crazy that this could happen, but I'm telling you, it ain't even as hard as you think. It's not even as hard as you think. It's a matter of calculated choices. And so that's the next part of the So What Success system. Talk about some of the choices you made along your journey to get you to this place.
So some of the choices are focusing on what is important. I am a student of leadership, and things of any work of leadership, any book, teacher, Miles Monroe, John Maxwell, Stephen Covey, like they provide so many tools and tricks and tips on how to focus on what's important. If you go look at the 7 habits of highly effective individuals and put first things first, like that is when you think about choices, hey, man, I want to go out. Oh, I got a bill to pay. Do I need to go out? Hey, I want to go buy this. I have some kids, or I need to study, or I need so you have to think about what you're doing. And it's hard to take a day off from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you become an adult, and this is one of the things that when talking to kids, I was like, enjoy your childhood as much as possible. Because when you become an adult, these choices matter more, because sometimes it doesn't just affect you, it affects other people. You might be able to suffer yourself, but do you want to cause suffering to somebody else? And then somebody's watching you, like somebody's paying attention to you. So if you make a wrong decision, it may give them justification to do the same thing. So
I think that's super important, and just teaching the beauty of delayed gratification too, right? Because it's essentially what you just described is, putting off some of those things that you really want to do in this moment, because something much bigger is right around the corner, really, when you can make some of those sacrifices of your time, of your money, of your energy, of your effort. And I love that you shared it too, because I'm like, you said, be a kid as long as possible. I became an adult at 15, essentially. When I became a mom, I was like, every single thing I did impacted my child. And like you said, your child was your wake-up call, and it really made a difference and made you get focused. But I love that you're sharing this. Go ahead.
That's one of the things that I really respected about you, Summer. And one of the reasons why when you did something, like, let me support it, because you went through that, you showed yourself approved, you did these great things, and now you're striking out, and it's like, hey, I want to inspire others. I love that. Like, here's this single mom that has went and done all these great things, got these accolades, and now she wants to inspire others too, to make people that could potentially be in her situation come and become. Like, how could I not support that? And the minimum buy a hoodie.
Thank you.
Minimum buy a hoodie. Like, and then my wife stole my hoodie. She still got another one. I need another one. She doesn't wear that one, so I need,
I love it. There are more where they come from. I appreciate it. And I'm glad you even brought that point up, though, because first of all, it meant more to me than you can ever imagine. Here's the thing too, that hopefully is a lesson that people can take away. You support people. Support people. When you see people are doing something that you like or that you believe in, whether it's big or small, there are a ton of ways that you can support. And you probably thought buying a hoodie was little, but it was huge. It was huge for me. And it made me feel seen. It made me feel appreciated. It made me feel recognized. It made me feel supported by somebody I don't talk to all the time. Wow. But I'm like, because in life, and you know this, I'm sure, sometimes the people that you think automatically are going to support you don't. And so when the people who you don't expect to support you do support you, it means that much more. Yeah. And so that was huge. That was huge. And again, hopefully that's a lesson that some people will take away from this. If it crosses your mind to do something big or small to support somebody, just do it. Just do it. Just do it.
Okay. Going back to your obstacles thing, your what obstacles were in the way. I try not to get into like blaming other people and I try to be internal, like, okay, if I'm going to do it, it's on me, right? Like, and I think that's maybe sometimes too much, that I count on myself. I mean, if my son was here, he'd be like, Dad, you need to talk about God, how much he's helped you. Understand, he's the foundation of everything. Now, my son checks me on that.
I love that.
Did you pray? I was like, son, yes, I prayed. Now let's pray together. We can make sure it's so understand, everything I'm saying, God is in the forefront. He has led me. He talks to me, he guides me, he walks me and carries me in my journey. Like I'm none of this is me. This is him. All of this is him. In saying that, there are times, and even when I was coming to Memphis, people was questioning me and doubting me. Why are you going all the way over there to go to school? You can go to ETSU, you can go to Knoxville, you can go to Chat. They're all within 4 hours. University of Memphis was 6.5, 7 hours away. And even now, I rarely get people from home that come here and visit. I'll go home and see them, but it's very seldom people come all the way past Nashville to Memphis. Even had my stepdad, who again, I didn't necessarily get along with, but we got along well enough. He offered me a car to stay home.
Okay.
College. As an 18-year-old without a car, as a 17-year-old without a car, and you're walking everywhere, like that's tempting. But for some reason, God put it in. It's like, no, go ahead and go, and struggle if need be, but figure it out. And
figure it out. Okay, so that was good. So yeah, I came to Memphis too. So I was a young mama, right? And it would have been much easier to stay at home, which was Jackson, Tennessee. And so people question me, why am I going all the way to Memphis? Even though it wasn't nearly as far, but it was the same thing. And I think what you just shared is like, no, you knew in your heart where you were supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And
where are you supposed to be?
And sometimes you just got to take the step. You don't have everything in order, and you don't know everything, but you just got to take the step.
Well, what you just said is figure it out. So I have, when I taught my class at the University of Memphis, I had one student I would point to, he knew what to say. Because sometimes the students would say, I don't know, how do I such and such? Like I would give him an assignment and I would point to him and he would say, figure it out. Because that's always my answer. I'm not telling you. His name was Sam, and that's my students began to know, don't be asking me how do you do all these things, because a lot of things you just need to figure it out. And one quote that I actually have in my presentations when I speak is, never doubt your ability to figure it out. And that's what you demonstrated.
That you might need to put that on the shirt.
I love it. I love it.
On the front and figure it out on the back or something.
Love it. I love it. Maybe I need to do that. Yeah. That is something that I have said, and it was what has got me where I am. And I'm sure that's without you saying it or thinking it exactly, that's exactly how you felt. Well, you've demonstrated the SOA success system also. You've learned how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices. And you are a SOA success man, because there are all the things that you just said, right? The single mom, challenges with the step parent. I got, understand that too. Other alternative income generation things you could have done, moving to a new place without a lot of support and where you were, you could have not made it, but you decided, I'm gonna make it. So what success. But Germaine, what is your personal definition of success?
I've thought about this because you asked me this question. My definition of success, I think when you set goals, I am a planner. And so as a planner, you always have things that you want to get to. You have goals, you have expectations. And so a success is when you set goals and you attain those goals. There is a big piece of me that says sometimes you don't get to the goals, but it's still okay, because you may learn some stuff along the way. What I tell my kids to always do is try. Like if you fail at something, but you tried, that's better than if you succeed at something and you cheated. So success is setting goals and attaining those goals, but don't miss the learnings along the way.
I love it. I love it. Okay, one last question for you. What advice? Because you're full of advice.
Man, I got a lot to say.
I know you have a lot that you could share. A lot that you could share as a man, as a Black man, as a father, as a student, as a lot. But what's one piece of advice that you would leave with those who are watching this, who may find themselves in challenging situations but want to be successful?
So lately, and I think it's good because the last time I was in a different place than I am now, just in the things that's good. So when I cycle, when I run, when I bike, when I swim, I get to do a lot of thinking. So right now I have been focused a lot in my thoughts around my foundation and where I grew up in Newport. And so, you know how a house, the foundation is small, but everything else is big on top of the foundation, but that foundation has to be solid, right? It has to be strong. It has to be able to hold everything else up. And so my advice is don't lose your foundation. Those good things that you learned growing up, those things that maybe you caught them because somebody taught you, or maybe you caught them because you saw somebody doing it wrong. But you know it's right and it should be at the core of who you are. Don't lose those in this life. That's where I'm at now.
I love it. As powerful. It's simplistic, but that is powerful. That's powerful. Look, I'm reflecting. I'm reflecting. That's great advice, Germaine. And I'm gonna continue to think about that even myself. I want to thank
that's like, wow.
Seriously, even once you get to a certain place, a certain level of success, you do have to reflect on your foundation. And sometimes you have to go back and make sure you do the things that you need to do to keep that foundation strong, right? So I think that's excellent advice. I just want to thank you for doing this interview with me. I thank you for being who you are. I thank you. Absolutely. I thank you for your support. And I thank you for representing in so many ways. Represent us U of M alums, representing men, representing Black men, representing fathers. Yes. So keep on doing the great work, and I'll be cheering you on as you do your triathlon.
Yeah, that's what I'm training for this year. Pray for me.
I'll be cheering for you. I'll be cheering for you. You got this. You got this. I thank you so much. Love you, my friend.
Love you too. Take care.